John McLaughlin, JD, is the best analyst I've ever known. And so, yes, it's quite possible that ISIS wins. And John defines that is essentially ISIS has this para-state the size of Belgium in the middle of the Middle East. In 1 or 2 years from now, ISIS is going to chalk that up as a victory.
General Michael Hayden on this program just a few minutes ago supporting former CIA Deputy Director John McLaughlin's analysis that yes, ISIS can win and overtake the Mideast. Hayden says that if left unchecked, in 2 years, ISIS could well consider their efforts right now a victory. That's a perfect place to begin a discussion with our panel. From Newsmax LA, our good friend Larry Elder, political analyst and Newsmax contributor, and Skyping in from Washington, D.C., the former Deputy Staff Secretary to President Bill Clinton, David Goodfriend. Gentlemen, we thank you for your time. Larry, let's begin with you. Your take on what General Hayden just said.
Pretty sobering. It's what I'm hearing. And I think it was 2 weeks ago, the former Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates, was on CBS, and he said that when we pulled the troops out of Iraq, we lost access, we lost influence. More than that, every single one of the generals who were experienced that we put there was fired and replaced with political hacks. That's why the army melted away, not because they were afraid, but because they did not feel they had competent leadership. We're in serious trouble, and we're going to have, as Robert Gates put it, a more robust response, close quote.
David, sounds as if Larry is laying this blame squarely at the feet of the Obama administration. Your take on it?
I think that's rather superficial, frankly. I mean, we learned the hard way that high-powered explosives and boots on the ground don't necessarily get us what we want in the Middle East. We had not one but 2 invasions in this part of the world, and look what it got us. So I don't think that this reversion back to fighting land wars from a prior century is the way to look at this. I do think it's a serious problem. I do think it's a serious threat to peace. And I do think it's a serious threat to the United States national interest. I don't think that going back to a failed playbook of past administrations is the way to fix it.
One thing perhaps we could all agree on, gentlemen, is the fact that this will remain a problem for our next commander-in-chief. And in pursuit of taking that job in the Oval Office, a new Quinnipiac poll says that despite all the GOP candidates in the running for the presidency, only Marco Rubio and Rand Paul right now come close against Hillary Clinton. According to those polled, people favor Hillary at 45% and Marco Rubio at 41%. That same margin of difference exists between Mrs. Clinton and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, a 4-point difference, in this case 46 to 42%. Despite all the disturbing reports and I guess troubling dealings that surround Secretary Clinton, she is still favored at this point among Americans. Why do you think that's so, David Goodfriend?
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton, unlike any modern politician, is known by 100%, close to 100%, statistically 100% of voters. That's staggering. I mean, that's unheard of in modern politics. So what that means is that people have their views about Hillary Clinton, good, bad, or indifferent. They have their views, and it's very, very hard to change those views. So yes, she had some turbulence shortly after announcing. Did that move these numbers? Not at all. Did she see herself facing a greater threat from any one particular Republican? No. But I do think on the Republican side, what's interesting is that there's a very fluid situation in terms of who will emerge as the nominee. It's very early. Barack Obama was 30 points behind Hillary Clinton at one point in their primary. So I don't think we should read too much into these numbers. I do think that it's dangerous politically to think that any one blip on the screen is going to significantly move Americans' views of Hillary Clinton. They see her as strong and decisive. They've got their problems with her, but they overwhelmingly see her as somebody with the experience and the values that they want to see in the White House.
Larry, I'm guessing the 2 words that David put forth there you might agree with are these: it's early.
Well, I'll tell you, I was listening to David's analysis, and it was spot on. And it's striking to me how somebody who can be so accurate in analyzing what's going on right here can be so misguided about the war in Iraq. One more time, Obama said that Iraq was sovereign, safe, secure, and pulled out. And Joe Biden and Chuck Hagel wrote a piece before the war and said, hey guys, we're going to be there about 10 years. And by the way, we're going to have to leave a stay-behind force that'll be there for an indefinite period of time, which is roughly what happened. Now, all of a sudden, George W. Bush is a warmonger and irresponsible. It's not fair.
Well, you took a second bite at that apple, and we will take from your comments that it is early in the polling. Now, another controversial policy from the Obama administration blasted by a federal judge. The judge blasting the administration's motion to dismiss a lawsuit brought by Republicans in the House over Obamacare. Is this another sign that the legal parameters of Obamacare not favored by everyone, and it's going to be rough sledding in the Supreme Court? Larry, we'll begin with you. 30 seconds for you and then 30 seconds for David.
I think that's exactly what it means. And this judge was really ticked off because the Obama administration argued that the House lacked standing. And the judge said, if the House lacks standing, what you're saying is, Obama, that we could pass a law, Obama could change it unilaterally, and then the House can't do a damn thing about it because, as you put it, you lack standing. He was offended by that. And this appellate judge also affirmed the injunction that was done by the Texas judge. So I think Obamacare is in serious trouble. And I think that Judge John Roberts wants a do-over. He knows he was on the wrong side before. He wants to be on the right side. 5-4 in favor of eliminating the subsidies for the state exchanges.
All right, Larry's been expansive. David, I got to give you 20 seconds on the question for the last word. Go ahead.
Sorry, David.
That's okay. I'll take the 20 seconds to say this. Chief Justice Roberts did not want to be the one to oversee the demise of this statute once before. I still believe that he will be the fifth vote this time around. I don't think that 4 words out of a many thousand-page bill law are going to mean that the Supreme Court undoes the entire law, which would be the effect, essentially, of ending the subsidy. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Translation, stay tuned. Gentlemen, thanks for your time, and you stay tuned at home. We're coming back.